Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another YouTube video. I am Ninkal. In today's video, as you can see, or if you can make out in the video, we are going to do some SingleBud technology, and this is a propagation technique. It's a micro propagation technique that they use to propagate ginger. It is used all over the world, especially in India, and because of the root rot, the ginger rhizome rot that we're experiencing in Jamaica, this new approach has been adapted to grow ginger, and this is being done by the Scientific Research Council. Pioneered this technology, and now it is being done on a wide scale basis from the research center, the Bowles Research Center in Old Harbour. We have today Mr. Alfred Barnett from the Plant Quarantine Produce Inspection Branch, and that's an agency within the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries here in Jamaica. He is a senior plant quarantine officer, and he's here today to demonstrate and to facilitate us learning this, what we call SingleBud technology in growing ginger. So traditionally, ginger is propagated or grown using what we call the mother rhizome, which is just a piece of ginger placed in the ground, covered, water, and then sprout into new plants, which will later bear new rhizomes, of which we will harvest. However, with this method of planting ginger, we realized that it was susceptible to the disease rhizome rot. Rhizome rot is a disease caused by a bacterium and a fungal agent, and also nematodes that may be present in the media or in the soil environment. These diseases can wreak havoc on ginger production, and as such, it is not advisable to grow ginger using the traditional mother rhizome method because of the threat that it is posing to the industry and to the global ginger production. It is a response to this why the government has developed now, through the Scientific Research Council and Bowles, to implement a new technology, what is called the SingleBud technology, using tissue culture plantlets or tissue culture plants that is growing in a sterile environment, clean environment, free from pest and disease, free from this disease, the rhizome rot, and then using the SingleBud technology to propagate those plants and then make them available to farmers, so as to ensure that the farmers are getting clean and healthy plantlets. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go straight over to Mr. Barnett now for him to demonstrate how the SingleBud technology is done, and we're going to assume that these rhizome that we're using, these ginger that we're using, are coming from a clean source, a tissue culture source, for example a Bowles or a Tacius Golding High School facility. We're going to assume that these plants are either G2, which is generation 2, or generation 1, and this is how we're going to now propagate these plants into other plantlets, so these plantlets now can be available, what we call suckers, can be available to farmers in the constituency, and so therefore they can go about their production in a clean, safe and productive manner.
So we're making the assumption that these were ginger coming out of a certified seed rhizome program, and we are now ready at the stage where we're going to perform the SingleBud technology. And what the SingleBud technology does is that it allows us to use between 5 and 6 grams of the ginger, as compared to traditional planting where this would be a piece that you would plant, right? And so it ends up reducing the seed rate required to plant in a hectare of ginger from being 1,700 to 2,500 kilograms down to 500 to 600 kilograms. So in the SingleBud technology, first thing before you would start, you would then make sure that the surface of the ginger is clean, and then you will give it using a mild fungicide, a surface treatment for about 30 minutes. Then you would put them in shade for them to dry, and having dried, they are now ready for cutting. What you're doing when you're doing the SingleBud technology, you want to make sure that at least one eye or bud is visible on the ginger, right? Another thing that I want you to understand before you start to cut in and when you get it is that sometimes persons just trying to cut off the eyes. You don't want to do that because the more piece of the rhizome that you leave on the piece is the more food that it has to push and produce a nice plant in the beginning. So you don't want to waste the piece and by just cutting off like here and don't leave a piece of the bigger part of the rhizome that can sustain the plant while it's coming up. Make sense, everybody?
Yes.
Right. Right.
So with the absence of a scale.
Yeah. No, you're not going to use no scale. It's a
judgment.
So we assume that our knife has been flamed using a methylated spirit lamp. If you don't have that, you use alcohol in a bottle and you clean. If you don't have that, it's 10% bleach solution and you clean.
This is alcohol?
Right?
Yes.
One of the things that I tend to do is to start from like break it. If the ginger have a whole lot of pieces, I tend to break it. So here am I going to show you what the cut looks like. So the first one that I will take off is right here, this eye that is protruding out, this one. I'll try and take this one off. And so you try to make a clean cut. And so that one. So this is a piece that is good for planting. This is one piece. If I look right here, you can see another node coming out. You see that one right here? So I can take off that one. And that's 2 plants, right? Okay, there's a node here and there is that one over here. I want both of them because I am greedy and I'm going to take both of them. So I take this one out, so that one is fine, and I cut this one right here so I get this one also, right? There are 2 left here. There's one over here and one there, right? So what I can do if I want both of them, I could actually cut it like this and I could actually get 2 plants from that. Or I could just leave it and this plant will have 2. The choice is basically yours, but you can also cut that also again, right? Alright, so that's what you'll do when you're cutting. So I kind of want you to practice the cutting because just looking at me do it kind of look easy, but when you have to make that decision, that's when it becomes a little bit more difficult. So I want us to try and practice as we cut the piece. So again, we start from big. Make sure your knife is sharp because you don't want to Jamaica to chamber the thing. We don't want champering, right? We want cut it and allow us. So we'll put all of the pieces together. After which we are then going to put them like in an onion bag, and then we're gonna dip them back in the fungicide for 30 minutes so that they can soak up. One more thing that I want to say to you, and I didn't demonstrate that. So when we cut in the pieces, right? So let's say I start off with this piece of ginger. It's like how it has something here. Let's say I don't know whether or not there's anything in there. You try to cut this piece first to see what is happening. And so like how I see that, then I would say, okay, don't like what that look like. Remember, if I was planting that big piece, I would have planted with all of this in there and I wouldn't know what was there. Right. Now I know what is here. I can see that something is wrong here. But do I throw away this piece? No. What I try to do is to peer it again to see what happened. And when I look here, what happened? Clean. But if the disease was on this edge coming into the thing, I would have then taken off this disease portion of it. So what I have now is not a disease piece anymore because I would have cleaned it up. But because I have cut with my knife and I have cut the disease part, this is why I needed my methylated spirit lamp and my alcohol to clean up my tool. So I would then clean up this tool again before I make any more cut into close back that alcohol for me, right? Alright, so I would clean up my tool again before I make any cut. So you see the advantage of being able to do this because you can get to look at the pieces as you're cutting them to make sure that what you're really going to plant is clean material. Another advantage as we cut these pieces now is that when you cut them into small pieces, they are more exposed surface for the treatment to go in. And as a result, you get a better treatment than if I was trying to treat this big piece because they are less exposed surface for the thing to go in. So again, I look at this. I have an eye here, I have one there, and there's one over there. So I'm gonna try and see how much I can take all 3 out of this. So I cut this one and I get that one, and this is still big enough for me to get 2 out of, so I can cut that one. And even this small piece still have enough in there to give me a plant, right? So again, somebody can try.
You're a knife.
You can use my knife if you want to. You can use my knife. And
so you believe?
I want other persons to try, so maybe I need to go get another knife.
I have a knife.
One, two. Yeah, your body knife.
I have a knife.
Yeah.
So tell them, we are using body knife. We are using kitchen knife.
You're not using it in the kitchen.
You know when the plants that do already? Okay, so this is one. Then I have 1, 2, 3 here.
Let me see where you're going. Go.
This is the first one.
Okay.
There's another one here, but I don't want
Okay,
to minimize it too much.
right. That's good. That's good. That's good.
So I'm going to cut this.
Alright, so again, as I said, remember, try and make sure that you use as much of the food of the ginger as possible. So you can actually cut across there.
So this is one also.
So there's one there, there's one here. And you notice I was saying that looking at it from afar, it looks easy, but when you have the piece in your hand,
To make
to make
that
that decision,
right.
that's where, right.
So this is
right,
one,
you can
right
take
here.
one there, right.
Take this one here.
And see another eye coming over right there again.
This
That's
is another
swollen.
eye right
There's
there.
one here too.
There's one here.
Right. So you're gonna
You can take it this way.
hold on.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
right. So you're taking that one.
Taking
okay.
this one, taking it this way. You can have enough food on it. Alright. This one now, I'll take it this way. Alright. Then I have another one here, and one here, and one here. So let me see if I can get enough food from it now. Alright. Take this one this way. This one here, so. And this one like this now. Get enough food for both of them. Alright, so this have it. There's another one here also. But it's not a dormant.
It kind of dormant.
So
yeah,
I
I
would
don't
leave it
see it.
like
I'm not sure if it will come up,
Alright,
right? Okay.
Right.
Right. Okay. Here for 30 minutes, then we take out the bag, allow the excess to dry off, and allow them to drip dry. So we're gonna assume that we did all of that. They were treated, drip dried, and now they're coming back to us all this pile, right? So they have drip dried, and we are now ready for planting. Material that we're gonna use is fire, right? Now it normally comes dry, and you'd have to wet it. And I normally say that you wet it enough so that when you hold it, it kind of ball together like this, right?
Right.
Okay. It's gonna get a little bit messy here, but for me, when I'm filling the tree, I just normally do this and draw up enough material, right?
This is coir mixed with perlite.
Yeah, like with It's just a potting mix that the different people have different method of pulling the trees, but I don't normally pull it all the way up because you're gonna have to put the pieces in, and you notice that some of the pieces based on how the cuts are bigger than others, right? So you don't want it too full because you want to leave some space in there where the ginger can go in. Everybody see that? You don't want to pull it up too much.
So ideally, you'd want to wet the medium.
Yes, you have to. You
Medium
don't want it
before
dry
you-
because it's hard to. Right, it's hard to wet once you
fill it.
right.
It's compacted and
Right,
stuff.
yeah. So you want to make sure that it is. So you'll have somebody fill the trees, and then you're ready for planting, right? So we're gonna assume that trees is now filled, and we're ready for planting. Okay. We're gonna take the pieces. One of the things that I was saying that because we're not pre-sprouting these, or we did not pre-sprout them, try to look for eyes that are more kind of similar. So for example, this one that is pushing out, right? So you're gonna plant this in the tree, and you kind of turn that like associate, right? Okay. This one has, for me, I could cut this one again, but the person chose not to, and that's fine. Because you could cut here, and you would have gotten two. You have gotten this one over there and that one over there, right? But let's say we didn't do it, so you turn them up like that, right? Here's another one. Put it in, and there could have taken a little bit here. So you turn it up like that, and then you just quickly plant them into the tree. Just like this part is not hard. Just kind of look for where the eyes are. See what decision the person made. You'll find where the eye is. This is where you'll find out if somebody didn't do an eye properly. So you find the eye and you turn it up.
And you said that you want to put the eyes that are similar in terms of the...
Yes.
stage of sprout.
Right, so you see, if you're having a problem putting this one in, it means that we could have probably take off a little bit more off of it.
Right.
So that we could have taken a little piece off of it like that, and that would have been good enough. Huh? Just for me, just you can put it in the middle, right, yeah, and just dry it over, just like over before. This one is going to. I like these ginger because of all the eyes we're looking. They're gonna start to sprout really quick. So within another week or so, you're gonna start to see things start to push up.
Yeah. This one is mine. Always.
Where's the matter?
This tray right that you're doing right there is ours.
Oh yeah. Everything is yours. Hey.
Yeah, some ginger.
Alright, good.
So alright, so next now you label this, right?
Right. And then you'd apply just a small amount of moisture to this, right? The 72 cells is almost going to be the same era as this, but the number of cells are going to be more, which means that the cell size are smaller. So if you have big pieces of ginger, fat pieces to use, then obviously you better use the 50 cells rather than the 72. But if the ginger are small and can fit in easily, then you're...
Is this, Mr. Barry, is this something that gardeners, homeowners, persons who do backyard gardening, is this something that they could do at home?
Yeah, man. They could do it. The only disadvantage I would see is that if you have your good soil at home and you're not sure of the quality of the material that you're starting with, you may be able to still introduce problematic material that messes up your land and may not facilitate you being able to continuously grow ginger. But if it's coming from a clean seed program, it's something that anybody can do. It's not rocket science at all.
And you see, just from a small piece of ginger, you could get 10 plantlets.
Right. It is estimated that we are able to pull. So I bought 3 pounds of ginger today. Right? So all of what we had is 3 pounds. And we have probably about 2 pounds, pound and a half, 2 pounds still left. Yeah. And we planted 100 plants already. We estimate that we will get about 90 to 100 plants from each pound of ginger.
Wow.
For 100 plants. And it's based on the size of, if it looks like this, you're probably closer to the 90. If it looks like this, you can even get 150 from it.
Yeah. Wow.
Right. Because you see there are more fingers than
that's right. Wow.
My question. What's the going price per seedling?
I am not yet privy to that information, what they are going to sell for. I know what this is, and as we made these calculations. What I can tell you that though is that based on the models that we work with, for those persons who are producing G1 rhizome, which was what was done on Montreal, the price is $2,500 per kilogram for that material. And you will be producing G2, and the price is $1,800 per kilogram. And then it goes down as you as the generation goes down. So the price goes down.
So the 6th generation will maybe...
Yeah, it comes out because the utility of it after that is less. You can't use it for anything except commercial.
So you could have a farmer X, who invest in some G2 plants, and then because he have that facility, he could do the SingleBud technology.
Right, so that's one of the things that I want to emphasize and be clear about, based on the nature of the program that we're trying to run.
Right.
We want the seed production to be at a certified
level.
So, although a farmer may have a greenhouse, and will not be planting this material if they purchase it from you into the soil, it will not be certified as seed material. For further production. because remember, it's not only that you go sideless, but all of the other standards that goes with it. Right. So once the other standards are not maintained, then it wouldn't fit. Right. And the other question, one of the issues that we were grappling with for a long while was when a farmer come and purchase, let's say they purchase seedlings from you, and the first year they harvest and they get excellent rhizome, should they be allowed to use it again? My take on it is that we shouldn't allow them to use it, not because I am trying to prevent farmers from being able to use the material. But if we allow them to use the material, we are going to go back to where we are trying to come out of. Because as I said to you, that if pathogen is in the field, the thing can pick it up during its growing stage. And when you use it as a planting material the next time around, what you're going to do is that it's right there already and begin to operate. And so that disease will take down the plant in the second year of you using it way faster. And you may not be able to plant in that field again the third year. Versus if you continue to go to the nurseries to get clean seedlings, that seedling, because it is already at an advanced stage of development, by the time the pathogen get there, you're still going to get a crop, and you will still be able to produce on that piece of land that the farmer have. That the only thing he knows how to grow there is ginger, and this allows him to facilitate continuous production. But we're not stopping there. As I said, there are training that will be provided for the farmers themselves, mainly through RADA, who we have here with us today, and also through JACRA, who is going to be responsible for that. My part will finish once these seedlings have reached to the stage where they are delivered to the farmers in 30 to 40 days. I am done with it. That's now the purview of RADA and JACRA to take it through the next step of production.
So you're saying in 30 to 40 days, these can be planted out?
Planted into the field, yes.
Into the field.
There are no actual seedling at what height?
At what height? It's again, it's based on how well you manage it. But they will be about this tall when you're ready for it.
So around 10 inches.
As I said, from about 20 days onward, you can start to give them a little bit of 20 and to spur the growth. There's a couple of service providers here, input suppliers, who are thinking of that they have some stimulants that we can also add to it. But we need to run the research to see what is happening.
Before we plant or after?
After we plant, well, there are one or two that say that they have things that will actually encourage more uniform
shooting
grow out. So, but we need to try it. We haven't done it, and as I said, because this is kind of the first year that we are commercializing in a way, we still are learning some of the intricate details as it goes. So maybe next couple of years when you talk to me, I will know a lot more. All right. So I leave this so other persons can try later. So we're gonna break for lunch now. But as I said, these trays, would water them a little bit so that there is some moisture that they are able to continue to pick up. We don't want to overwater the tray because we can then create issues with it.
Water like once per week?
A little bit more than that. You'll come and feel to see if there's moisture in there, and then you'll decide what to do. All right. So for the first 4 days, sometimes people can stack them like this, and then we could cover them with a black plastic and kind of just build up some heat in there, and that will then stimulate them to it's good if you allow in air to come under, so you want to lift up, you want to raise them up a little bit so that air is flowing through.
I put them on a mesh.
Stimulate the growth. Right? Okay, so that's SingleBud Technology, and you definitely can see that it really, but we couldn't get 100 plants out of the ginger. We have gotten more than 100 plants already, and still have probably
150 at least.
And we right out of it, so that's significant, right?
So Sir Bart, if you were to grow these at home, where the ideal place that you could put the trees, since you wouldn't have a structure like a house?
Well, if I was doing this at my house, I have a big back porch that I could set it aside on.
Yeah.
And it will work. It will work.
So for people who don't have any porch at their home.
Put on that tree or
But
somewhere.
as I said, we're setting up the system in such a way that having grown the rhizome, the nurseries themselves will be able to produce the seedlings under a controlled environment, and farmers come in and pick up.
Right.
The only challenge I see is these trays kind of going to form part of your major cost. So what you will have to do is to have some kind of arrangement with the farmers, having taken these trays to give them, to return them back to you. What I know some people do is that they will they add a cost into it before it goes, and then when you bring it back, you get back that refund, and that's a good method to employ, because then it will save you. What you would have to do is just to clean up the tray the next year and sanitize it with some hot water or bleach and use it. Expensive.
Yeah.
5, yes.
So it's only one cycle per year?
One, the farmer?
Yeah,
No, it's based on when you start. Because remember, ginger, you want to get it into the ground at a particular time for you to get production. Because naturally, when it comes to a certain time of the year, it's going to go down. So if you don't give it enough growing, so you wouldn't want to be doing SingleBud Technology. It will grow, in August. But it means that by the time the farmer gets it to plant it into the field, it will be late.
So in other words then, there's a particular season where ginger, in a general sense, it does best.
Yes.
So we'll patronize that from the general environment and prepare the seedlings within that time frame so that they can disperse it.
So how I think we can assist in this program is that we can do our harvesting from our seeds early, so like latest February, March, and then that will give us maybe the ability to do 2 cycles of production of seedlings into the for nursery. And remember that, as I said, if you store the rhizome properly, they can be stored for 4 months. So you will be able to have your rhizome use up as much as possible as your facility can facilitate. The others will be stored. Once you sold those, you come back and do a second batch. So I think that you can safely do about 2 batches per year. And then now you transition back your house into growing seed for another year. Right? So it allows you that versatility. Alright?
And you said the storage is shelf life for these, is it?
Yeah, you can store for 4 months.
4 months.
Right.
Oh. So you buy them when it is plentiful.
Right, abundance. Stored.
But remember, where we're going is not buying from field, but buying from
yeah.
Because I would source.
Yes, right. Like Mount Kelly and Bogies.
Yeah, and Tacius.
And Tacius Golding as of next year. As of next year. Alright.
Hey, you gotta